Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, traders. This is your weekly recap. It's week ending on the 3rd of October. 3rd of October, this is the weekly recap, and we're going to look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average and also the All Ordinaries, which is the XAO on the Australian stock market. And we're going to get a good gauge of where everything is and where it's likely to go in the next coming weeks, or at least next week, technically anyway. So let's have a look at the charts. Right now we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and we can see for quite some time now we've been in a downtrend. Every single candle on the chart right now is a weekly bar. So you can see what happened last week. This weekly bar, weekly candlestick, had a nice significant downside. And with all the activity happening in the US, such as all the announcements coming out, and the bailout which started from Monday, which got knocked back, and then Friday finally got approved, the market still wasn't happy and they still sent this to the downside. So that's quite interesting to see that. Now, if I show you the XAO chart, you can see something completely different, where it's not as bullish. This is the XAO chart. Now, what we can see here, these are the drawn trend lines that we've had on the chart from the past videos. And what we can see here, we actually can see one of our trend lines down through here actually being a nice support or resistance. So you can see that if we just don't draw that and we just bring up the chart again without the trend lines, you can see that the Australian market wasn't actually as low as the Dow Jones. Now let me show you on a split screen here. I'm going to bring up the Dow Jones, and then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring in the weekly chart. So what I'm bringing in right now, I'm bringing in the weekly chart on the XAO. Okay, and then I'm going to show you here and compare. You can see this is the weekly bar on the Dow Jones chart, and this here is the All Ordinaries. You can see it didn't actually have as much of a pull down as the Dow Jones did. Now, we did still send us south, and yes, we still did close below ocean levels. But I wanted to show you that the American market is much more in a bearish mode than the Australian stock market is. The US market is much more volatile than the Australian market is. Much more volatile. And you can see just through here that we've had some big up and down candles, big range candles on the Dow Jones, but on the Australian market we've had many small ones, couple of big ones, and then we've gone into big modes as well. But look how big these ranges are compared to the Australian market to the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is much more volatile, therefore it's much harder to control, especially if you are a couple of day trader where you're trying to buy a stock and get in for a couple of days, or if you're trying to buy and hold for a couple of months at least. If you are a day trader, the volatility in the market is phenomenal and therefore providing really good opportunities. But sometimes with the market that volatile, it's not good as a day trader as well. So make sure you look after yourself no matter what you're doing, and make sure you have a plan of attack. That's really important to understand. Okay, so let's just remove the XAO chart and let's just have a good look at the Dow Jones. Now, I personally believe that this market here is ready for a pop, at least this week. A bit of an upside this week, and I'll show you the reasons why. Technically, I'll show you the reasons why. If I just draw a trend line, and if I just draw a trend line from the bottom of this here, I'm just going to draw it down through here. And there we go. Notice what we have here. If I just extend that trend line over there. Yep, that's all it can do. Notice what we have here. We have a nice support through here. We have a nice support through here. And right now we're holding out a support through there. Okay, so that's the first thing. Is okay, we are currently at a bit of support level, but how strong is that level? That's the key thing and the key identification to this chart right now, to the Dow Jones Industrial Average chart. What makes this so significant? And what I want to do is I want to squeeze my chart up a bit more, and I want to find some more significant support and resistance levels. So we can see right now we actually had one up there. Well, that's not really relevant at the moment, and we can see we had one right down the bottom here. Okay, so we have a nice support through here, and we can see that we had a support through there and a support through there. Okay, so once, twice before taking on to the upside. Now, if I expand my chart out a bit, you can see this is the exact same line we just drew just then, but it's in a bit of a squashed up mode. What we're looking at right now is looking at the Dow Jones is almost at that support level where we're likely to get a bit of a bounce. Now, having the support line coming down through here and having the support line coming through here, I say that everything going for us without some bad news coming out, providing some bad news doesn't come out and send us down even more. I reckon if there's no news affected in this market in the next coming weeks, I reckon we could have maybe a bit of a down, a bit of a pop for a day or so, but I reckon we're going to finish up on a high note for the week. Now, let's go check out the XAO and see what that's doing for a weekly chart. This is the XAO, and if I just bring up my trend lines, and I'm going to delete the trend lines that we don't need anymore. Now, these trend lines you would have seen on previous weekly reviews that I've done in the past. If you haven't, just go back and check on the videos that I've done, and you'll be able to see the trend lines and how I got them there. But right now, we're just going to leave them where they are right now. What we're looking at now is we're looking at a couple of things. Horizontal support lines, candlestick weekly chart on the All Ords, and also a nice downtrend line through here. Notice how it's on this trend line right here, nice support. Now the funny thing is, if I just draw a horizontal support line, which we drew last week, notice this: one significant resistance, two significant resistance. Now when you have a two significant resistance and then it breaks up, when it comes back down like it did here, once and now twice bouncing off, that's showing a lot of support through there. Now if I just bring up my daily chart and show you this daily chart here has found a double bottom, once bottom, two bottom, and now we might have a sideways week, but I reckon we're going to have a bit of I reckon we're going to end on a high note for the week. That's what I reckon for this week, because I reckon we've had a big crackdown week. We're at nice support levels. I reckon we're due for a bit of an up week based on these charts. But please don't take that as advice. Please don't take that as a trading opportunity. That's really, really important to understand. Make sure you get educated, and that's exactly what we do in the trading room every single day. We educate you to look exactly what for. Moving averages, indicators, and all price patterns, exactly what to look for to get into a good high probability trade. But for now, on this video, I want to say that based on the Dow Jones, which I'll bring up the Dow Jones again. Based on the Dow Jones, we're at that nice support level which we drew you, and a candle which is let me just bring this back up now. Alright, so this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average here, and this is the XAO through here. Okay, so what we're looking at now, we're looking at the two sort of main drivers on the Australian market and also the US market, the main indexes, and they both are at nice support levels. They both are at good support levels, and therefore telling me that we should, provided no bad news comes out, we should get a bit of a pop this week, and maybe sideways, but I reckon we're going to end up on a high note for this week. That's technically anyway. So come to our trading room, check us out. I guarantee you won't regret it. Any questions at all, let us know, and I'll see you next week with your next weekly review. Take care and be careful in this rough and tumble market. Okay, bye for now. Trade in the stock market is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee your profit from the information provided. The information in these videos is meant for educational purposes only. That being said, I've been trading the market profitably for many, many years. So please, do your own homework and make sure you look after your current financial situation.